One of my favorite movies in high school was Coach Carter. And Coach Carter, there's a moment where one of the struggling athletes is talking about fear. And the coach keeps asking him, what is your greatest fear? What is your deepest fear? And he goes into the saying that our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. My name is Molly Dunphy. When I swam, it was Molly Hannis. I swam breaststroke. I competed at the University of Tennessee, and I'm now coaching at SCAT. Well, I started out a backstroker. Didn't really realize I had potential in breaststroke till later on, but in backstroke, I think I was getting really close to some of our team records, and in my mind, that kind of equated to, hey, I could be kind of good at this. I think competing for me was something that I really, really enjoyed, even at an early age. So I wasn't sure what I wanted out of college swimming. I knew I wanted to swim in college, didn't know where I wanted to go, what exactly I was looking for. So I kind of had a pretty broad group of colleges, I guess, I was looking at, or recruiting trips that I had planned. And I kind of just fell in love with Tennessee on my recruiting trip. You know, they had such amazing facilities, and you know, their team was starting to do some special things. And I think ultimately kind of the biggest thing for me was finding a place I could call home. I had gone to Olympic trials before. I went in 2008 when I was in high school. Just grateful to be there. I went when I was in college. Again, kind of just, I never really thought I'd make the team, but hoping for second swims. Didn't end up getting any second swims. I think I finished maybe 21st or so. And then 2016, I actually graduated college in 2015. So I was 1 year out from Olympic trials and thought I had a shot, a very, very outside shot. But I wanted to, you know, give it everything I had. I talked to my parents, and they were willing to kind of help me financially to make that happen if I needed it. For 1 year, just, you know, see what happens. And so I was a 24/7 athlete. I didn't have school. I didn't have anything to kind of distract me in that way. But that year, I really wanted to kind of leave everything there, knowing that, you know, if I got to Olympic trials and I made it, great. And if not, no regrets, right?
Quarterfinals of this event as they're going head to head now. Hannis in 4 representing the Coughlin squad. Miley in 5, the Sandino squad.
These are my bag tags, and I've tried to keep almost every single one I possibly could. I'm sure I'm missing a couple, but you know, there are so many of them here, and it pretty much just stays in a box. You know, I don't ever really, you know, do anything with it. But it's one of those things, and I look at it, I think of how many years I had in the sport, and kind of the highs and lows of the sport and whatnot. You know, I've got some Olympic trials, some World Cups, some World Championships. I think my, I even add some of the like Olympic Training Center. So just like to get into the Olympic Training Center, this was a training badge. But yeah, it's just kind of, it's a lot, but it, I think, tells a story of kind of, you know, a long career. I would argue I was more of a 100 swimmer, even a 50 swimmer. I was very much a 50 swimmer, could do the 100. 200 was something that I really had to work on that year. And one thing that I struggled with was the breath control. And at the end of a 200, at the end of, you know, what is it, a little less than 2 minutes of racing, you're pretty oxygen deprived. So I would take pullouts away in practice. I should start by saying underwaters are the fastest point of a race typically. And you have fly, free, and back that you are able to do underwater dolphin kicks. And that is very, very fast. In breaststroke, you're not allowed to do multiple dolphin kicks. So it's one of those things. A pullout is a way to transition from underwater to above the water, carrying ideally the most amount of speed. And all year long, my coaches were like, do your pullout. to do your pull-outs. And so I get to trials, and in semifinals, I didn't do one off of the last wall. And I got out of the water, and I was like, I know, you're going to kill me. I didn't do a pull-out. And he was like, actually, that looks pretty good. Let's look at the stats on it. I want to say I was like 1.2 seconds faster than anybody else in the heat to the 15-meter mark. So not even 25% down the pool, about 25%, whatever it is, down the pool. I had carried a lot of speed off of that wall without having stayed underwater. And so, after coming up and swimming and seeing that it was to my benefit, I thought, let's do this again in finals. I had been thinking about wanting to get a tattoo. I knew I wanted to put powerful beyond measure somewhere, and I had this moment of like, I want to put it on my front foot, because when I reach down to grab the blocks, I want that to be the thing that I think about. It's just this nice little reminder of I'm a very powerful individual, and I can do anything I want to do.
Hannis has got to push this pressure on the third 50. She had the slowest third 50 in the semis, but the fastest last 50. Don't take your eye off of her.
Lily King still with the lead as they race for home. King trying to make it a double in the 100 and the 200. And Lawrence trying to get on the team below her. Molly Hannis is above King, applying pressure as well.
Watch Hannis. Watch Hannis.
Molly Hannis creeping up on King. Lawrence is fading, and now it's a battle between Hannis and King. Lily King is going to make it again and will sweep the two breaststrokes as she goes to the wall. And in second is Hannis.